Blizzard has been on an absolute warpath when it comes to private servers. I heard that they started demolishing Stormrage and all of kind of private servers after Turtle WoW because, I don't know, their lawyers just working overtime nowadays. It's so funny. I think that Blizzard is actually doing this because they cannot make a good game anymore, so they just rather crush everything good. I know private servers are utilizing their IP, and listen, I'm gonna say it every single video, right? I'm not advocating for piracy. I'll never do. But I do say one thing. Gabe Newell said it best. If you want to defeat the pirates, just give them a better product. I mean, not the pirates, obviously, like people. Just give the people better product than the pirates offer. And for some reason, Blizzard cannot do that. Now, why? I guess we're about to find out.
Blizzard's legal hammer has come down squarely on Turtle's exposed head, and Blizzard have won. That's because now, 8 months after the explosive lawsuit involving the RICO Act and all that stuff, well, now, 8 months later, it's finally over, and on May 15th, Turtle WoW will shut down all...
By the way, in case you are not familiar with the RICO Act, it's what you invoke when you fight the mafia overseas. Okay, so Blizzard actually claimed Turtle WoW was a mafia organization. They went to those lengths to stop them from siphoning players. All of this instead of making the game good.
Of its servers for good. But it's not the
Let
only
that
one
sink in.
Blizzard's attack lawyers have destroyed. Blizzard are basically on a rampage here, and they're targeting a very specific type of private server. And
Successful
we all pretty
ones.
much know why they're doing it. But before I talk about that, first,
Pure
let's talk about the
greed.
end of Turtle WoW. Though there's another form of void chaos we should talk about, because it's getting spooky. The UK government is in court trying to force Apple to weaken its encryption. I don't like that.
What?
The Online Safety Act just expanded again. Over in the States,
Oh, I think
you
it's a
guys still
sponsor.
don't have,
It's
like,
a sponsor
robust
segue.
federal privacy law. It's just kind of a patchwork of state rules that
It is what
you know,
it
are
is.
there while the data breaches keep on piling up. We're seeing privacy erode across the place. Even in the UK, the Home Secretary referenced a panopticon in a good way. I mean, she thought it was good. So for reasons like this, I use today's sponsor, NordVPN.
Yeah, I knew it.
With
I know,
Nord's
he got me.
eyebrows from Ireland whenever
He got
I
me
want to
good.
skip the
He got me
surveillance
good.
and the bullshit.
Get that
or just
bread,
the
Bellular.
annoying restrictions.
Get
You
that
get the same
dough.
internet with none
You
of the
deserve it.
hassle. And at
You're working hard.
NordVPN.com/Bellular Warcraft, you'll
But
get
I mean,
4 months free
yeah,
and a 2-year plan
it's
backed by a
crazy
30-day
Blizzard is
money
doing
back
all of that
guarantee.
shenaniganry.
But of course, it's not just the
It's
privacy
absolutely
angle.
wild.
Nord can also pay for itself.
But to be fair,
You guys know
they're just
dynamic
gonna take
pricing
Turtle
is a
WoW
thing.
assets anyway.
Airlines, software,
It
car
is what it
rentals,
is.
they all
They're
end
gonna
up charging
re-release
differently
it.
based on location, so you
They're
can
really
bounce
good
from
at
another country
releasing stuff
and
that
just watch
already
the
has been
prices drop.
released.
And it means that one
I've
smart
noticed that
booking
pattern.
will already cover the cost of your Nord subscription. And while you're doing all of that pricing outsmarting,
I mean,
Threat
let's see,
Protection
how
Pro
many
handles the actual
things we
threats,
have here?
like malware, phishing, trackers.
Damn,
and
guys,
it's all
we have
dead simple
30
with
viewers
your desktop
starting
and
the stream.
mobile
That's
apps with
insane.
no technical knowledge
By the
needed.
way, if you're
So
watching
as I
this
said,
on
4
YouTube, make
months
sure
for
you
free
tune
and a
into
2-year
the
plan
stream.
at NordVPN.com
Links in the description.
Warcraft. Check
Make
it
sure
out.
to check it
Thanks
out.
and more for supporting the show.
Or I'll be under your bed tonight.
Turtle WoW was a pretty big deal. It was a massive popular private server that I think is best described as being an unofficial Classic Plus. Everyone who played it basically has praised it for the tons of new vanilla-like content. And it's kind of amazing. Everything they added respected WoW's tone and expanded the lore in ways that people did actually like. GMs were active and visible, like they kind of were back in the day with real World of Warcraft. They were really good at fighting bots, actually, which was a bad look for Blizzard, who were struggling with bots. But basically everywhere you looked, people were saying that they were doing Classic Plus exactly like we've all wanted from Blizzard.
Is that a threat or a
And
promise?
it turns out that
It's
got them
both.
results to the tune of 500,000
It's a
players.
prophecy.
That's pretty huge. But, of course, the fact that we even know that was one of Turtle WoW's single biggest mistakes. That's because they clearly thought they were invincible, and not just through sheer hubris. They had servers in
Yo, just joined. What are we watching? We just started a video. It's Bellular video about how Blizzard is taking down every single pirate server imaginable because they suck balls at making video games. By the way, Sunshine, I read your comment. Are you ever going to be like for piracy in video games? No, I don't think piracy is a good thing. I think piracy takes money from like people who actually put in the effort. Now, if the game sucks, it doesn't really change my opinion because like any company still obviously wastes money, you know? So It is what it is. It's not a good thing. I just really wish big companies would look at those private servers and learn from them instead of just trying to take them down.
Asia, they had a leader in Russia, and that meant that they just believed the law didn't really
What if the game is out of marketplace? Well, that's why we have the Stop Killing Games movement. But you're not pirate software, so you aren't allowed to be against it.
apply to them. So much so, actually, that before the lawsuit, they were even poking the official Blizzard account on X in public. They were basically taking the piss out of them. Now, that drew a hell of a lot of attention. Now, in many ways, that attention was great for the Turtle WoW wallet, but of course, it's not exactly the kind of attention you want if you want to avoid scrutiny. So, Blizzard were clearly onto them.
They were poking the
Blizzard
bear
first
too
needed
hard.
to build themselves a legal case. And they sure did. Not that Turtle seemed to care about that for what it's worth, because even after the lawsuit came down, Turtle just kept going, saying that they'd weather the storm. Now, their last big move was an open letter to Blizzard, one asking to work together on fan-licensed servers, which is obviously an interesting idea, but also one that did not pan out.
Turn to the good heart of Blizzard Entertainment. That surely would work. But again, this letter was for the community. It was never meant for Blizzard. If you thought this was for Blizzard, you're delusional. 100%. Because obviously what Turtle WoW did here was trying to garner more audience in their favor, right? They wanted people to poke Blizzard, and now here's where I'm conflicted. They either wanted fans to poke Blizzard to absorb Turtle WoW, and I think they were successful in doing so, or maybe just to keep Turtle WoW as is. I'm not really sure what they went for. Maybe one of the two solutions was fine with them, but we are going to get Classic Plus. It's 99% confirmed, and I think that Turtle WoW did strike a bargain with Blizzard. And the reason I think that is because Turtle WoW vehemently said that they were absolutely here to stay, nothing gonna move them, they're fine, everything is okay, and they keep on rolling content. 2 months after they said that, they capitulated to Blizzard. Now, we know that they were in talks together, so something happened. I think a bargain was struck, but I might be wrong about that.
And as much as there was a lot of feel-good vibes in their open letter, there was also a lot of interesting framing of other private server initiatives that, didn't really pass scrutiny. But let's go to the current day, because now Turtle has actually been ordered to shut down. What's happened is that AFK Craft, the legal entity believed to operate Turtle, has now got to stop all operations related to the server, and all operations related to anything Blizzard or anything WoW. And that means that with no other servers, no successors, no passing code off to another party, no forum posts advertising other servers, just nothing. They're not allowed to do any of it. And the same actually goes for Josiah Zimmer. He was their American marketing lead, and he was also their weak point.
They got him.
Blizzard is an American company, and that meant that in him they had an American.
It's crazy how Blizzard can't fix the rampant botting situation inside of World of Warcraft, but they could literally find someone on the dark side of the moon and send a Marine to go up in his ass if they just siphon money from them. It's insane. It's crazy. Like, they see bots inside of the game, and they're like, you know what? Let's join them. Here you go, friend. WoW token. You waited for that, didn't you? But whenever someone dares take some of their IP and create a better experience, oh, dude, they would go far and beyond to get that guy. It's crazy to see the disparity in, like, how they treat problems. Absolutely wild. Yeah, they're like Nintendo. Exactly like Nintendo, because Nintendo could have easily made a game that is better than Palworld, but they waited for Palworld to come out and then do something. And they didn't do even a good game. Like, the new Pokemon game, I heard it was trash. I actually watched it because I was pretty excited for it at first, but it just turned out to be garbage.
That they could legally dogpile, and it actually seems that worked. Quite simply, it's game over and Blizzard won. Now, of course, in all this legal stuff, there are other defendants that this doesn't apply to, but that's actually where the settlement comes in. Now, sadly, we don't know the teams that they decided on or if any money changed hands, but we do know this. Blizzard and the court
they reached a settlement.
Consider it all to be done, and the lawsuit will be closed in June.
Yeah.
And of course, now that Turtle has announced their shutdown, it does actually look like a complete Blizzard victory. But you may be thinking, okay, but will it stay a victory? And to what end?
I mean,
Will this...
I think the most plausible outcome is that they observed the Turtle WoW crew. I really hope that happened. That being said, I heard most of them were based in Russia, so maybe that's not the case. Take it with a grain of salt. But regardless, I think they got the code back. I think they got their code back, and I think that Turtle WoW, not assets, obviously it's Blizzard assets, just the layout and the story and all of that stuff. I think Blizzard got it nowadays. So they're gonna make Classic Plus with this in mind.
Day of victory for Blizzard. Well, Zimmer and AFK Craft are the only two defendants actually caught by this judgment. The other people behind Turtle, who are of course way less exposed to American courts, could totally just pick up new aliases and try all this again. And really, it wouldn't be the first time that many of them have done just that. So in theory, a new AFK Craft could be up and running another private server, hell, by the end of the month. And maybe they've already started. You see, whenever Blizzard hit them with the lawsuit, it actually wasn't just about Turtle. What Blizzard alleged was that the leaders of Turtle were running a full-blown mafia of private servers.
Like I said earlier.
Now, our own research turned up a whole bunch of evidence that does actually back that claim up. Basically, the people in charge were knowingly using passionate developers to just make themselves rich as hell from cash shop sales. That kind of thing has almost been an open secret in private server communities.
Damn, that's crazy. It almost sounds like Blizzard. Insane. They're using the passionate developers to actually push microtransactions. Wow. I wonder.
We've seen leaked private messages showing leadership shit-talking their audience, ignoring Europe to focus on China to make more money, and all sorts of other behavior like that isn't really a good look. And that means that this wasn't just a passion project, it was also a full-blown business. An illegal black market business at that. And to take it even further, one of the leaders is even said to use their position to spawn gold in their servers for gold sellers to sell. Of course, for a price. So they're basically just generating gold, exchanging some money, and then that gold is getting sold on. Now, of course, with free money like that, the chances of them fully disappearing forever are kinda slim. I mean, they found themselves a bit of a money printer. Why not try to do it in a way that Blizzard just can't really get them again in the future? Now, of course, we don't know everything. I wish we had the documents that Blizzard have, but look, even what we've seen, which is surely not everything, is still pretty damning. So anything that Blizzard got via the discovery process...
I mean, damning who? We all knew Turtle WoW was going to lose that. There's no way that Turtle WoW has a slight chance against Blizzard in a lawsuit using their own IP. Everyone knew Turtle WoW was toast. It was just a matter of if Blizzard would actually manage to smoke them out, and they have. Like, they managed to do that. That was the entire question. Nobody doubted that Blizzard is going to win the court case. It was obvious. It was guaranteed.
Must be pretty damn juicy. And in a situation like this, discovery is absolutely vital. It's one of the key parts of the process where Blizzard legally gets access to files from the American defendant in the case. That basically means emails, Discord messages, finances, everything. So anything shared with that individual would have been seen by the courts. And I'll tell you why all this has my eyebrow raised, right? Turtle shutting down is genuinely unexpected given all the legal protection they had. By which I mean, of course, they're ran by a Russian, the servers are in Asia, it's all pretty far away from US courts. So I think what we can deduce from that is that whatever documents Blizzard got from the discovery process are probably quite bad. Blizzard may actually have something on some of these people. But of course, even if the people are out, you can't kill an idea. People want Classic Plus. Now, legally speaking, they're not allowed to share any of Turtle's assets. Yeah,
and they do.
There is already a Brazilian private server that's basically just using Turtle WoW as its base. There will be clones in the future, many of them, and Blizzard's lawyers absolutely know that. And they're probably happy enough, because
they don't care. As long as you take out the main culprit, right? It doesn't really matter, because private servers are always going to pop out like mushroom in the rains. But the thing is, people like me, who enjoy Turtle WoW extensively, we're not going to download some random Brazilian server, right? And also, we're not going to take another risk of our progression being wiped away. It is what it is. It's just reality, and Blizzard knows that. So if a server has like 1k, 2k player base, Blizzard doesn't really care.
Servers they need to take down, hey, the more money they'll all be paid. But here's the interesting thing. Turtle WoW is actually not the only server pulling the plug. You may not have heard of it, but it's now time to talk about Stormforge.
Yeah, there it is.
Stormforge is a private server network with a few different offerings. They've got a TBC server, they've got a Wrath server with new, unique content, and a Mist server that's going to progress to Warlords of Draenor and Legion this year. Well, that's not the only thing they have, because they've got an egregious cash shop. It sells XP, it sells rat potions, cosmetics, boosts, and even just straight up gear.
Dude, that's cool. It's almost like I'm playing retail again. That's incredible, man. It truly reminds me of Ascension WoW. Ascension WoW was such a garbage private server. I played it for one day and I immediately dipped. It's crazy how bad it was. I bet Blizzard won't even bother taking it down because it was so bad. It's so completely different. It's like retail, but worse.
It's also going to be dying on the 14th.
With AIR2, what do you think? Of course. Of course, it's a good art. I'll give it to them. It's good. Some AI art is good, but, you know, at least they're marketing themselves, I guess.
Of May. According to their own shutdown notice, Blizzard hit them with a cease and desist letter, and they have actually complied.
Rip.
So, that means one thing is clear. Blizzard's lawyers are on the warpath. And now the Turtle has been made an example of, I think everyone knows Blizzard are serious. If you're trying to make money off a private server, you've got a target on your back. And that brings me to the last major private...
It's not about money. If Turtle WoW made $0, Blizzard would have still done the same thing. I bet you. Because it's not about money, it's about you siphoning players from Blizzard, and it's about you embarrassing them in front of everybody. All that Blizzard cares about is optics. That's why they do all of the Labubu millennial garbage, like the, you know... Oh, we're so above the rest. Look at the inclusivity we have in our game. And there you go. Another troll, Darkspear troll, rainbow dash cringe something, whatever. Who cares, right? That's why they do it. Because all they care about is virtue signaling. And Turtle WoW siphoning their players because they aren't able to provide you a good Classic Plus experience is just a bad look on them. That's why they did it. It was never about the money.
Server project that I think we need to cover, which is Ascension. And if I were Ascension, I'd start thinking about my exit plan.
Not really.
At the time of writing,
they're not going to take Ascension. Ascension is so wild. If you haven't played this server, just know everything inside of Ascension World of Warcraft is a pop-up. It's like they took World of Warcraft and made it Korean MMO. It's insane. You have million NPCs that jump out on you from nowhere. You have floating heads next to you giving you missions. You have Ascension missions, which is like new missions tied to their own achievement system and stuff. You can buy stuff with it. There's so many. It's literally like retail WoW on crack. It's insane. It's absolutely abysmal, and honestly, I don't know how anyone can play it. It's just really, really weird. You'd be way better off just playing retail WoW.
Blizzard have not yet taken down Ascension. Now, there's a few possible reasons for that. One is that they just feel untouchable, like Turtle did. But Project Epoch is another Classic Plus server that also got hit by Blizzard last year at the same time as Turtle, and like Stormforge, they folded to a cease and desist letter without it actually going to a full lawsuit. But unlike Stormforge, they didn't actually stop, and that's where Ascension comes in. Now, Ascension is the classless ARPG like WoW project. It's honestly pretty cool from just a development perspective, and what happened is that Ascension took over Epoch, which is a fairly gutsy move because it places them squarely in Blizzard's sights. And, well, things are actually going to get a little bit worse. That's because Ascension are gearing up to a launch called Conquest of Azeroth, which is set to be a vanilla experience with a ton of custom classes. And literally right now, as I make this video, they're even selling access to the alpha. And that means that it's another full-blown business using Blizzard's IP to make bank.
Ooh.
Now that they're carrying on
Blizzard
with this so
like
brazenly is obviously a sign that
Blizzard.
they think they're invincible
and
as
your
well.
gear just
of course,
isn't enough.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the news before too long. Now obviously, Blizzard would just nuke all of these things if they could. Well, Blizzard have only got so many lawyers. So here's another question. Why did Epoch, Turtle, and Stormforge get away with this stuff for ages? Well, it seems simple to me. First things first, it's a no-brainer. It's almost guaranteed that Classic Plus will be a huge announcement this BlizzCon.
Guys, this is why World of Warcraft isn't fun anymore, okay? I just want you guys to take a look and breathe it in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm doing this to you. I know this isn't fair, but if I suffer, so should you. Because that's how it works on GA channel. Yeah, we suffer together. So it's absolutely abhorrent that we have a wine mom currently acting as a VP who doesn't know a single thing about World of Warcraft. I bet she doesn't know how to raid even. It's insane because she's so detached from reality. All she's thinking about is fortification of WoW. She's too afraid to even call it Warcraft, and that's why the game sucks. That's why we're not having fun. That's why characters aren't masculine. That's why we lost the barbaric nature and foundation that Warcraft gave to World of Warcraft. It's literally what breathed life into the game, and it's completely gone by now. All we have is Yas Slay Queens that are doing the most neurotic things imaginable just to get a redemption arc a patch later. How Sylvanas can burn the tree that is most important to the elves, and later during down the Shadowlands expansion, she's like, no, jailer, I'm not going to do your bidding. What? But you already done his bidding. You burned a tree. You did all of that. Like, why now? It's just so idiotic. The writing just went out the window and nothing makes sense. Not in terms of gameplay, not in terms of story, and definitely not in terms of creativity. Zyru is going to Blizzard tomorrow to test out Classic Plus. Really? Interesting. I didn't heard about that. I mean, I know that Classic Plus is all the more confirmed, but okay, thanks for confirming it to me. It's actually really interesting. She's the worst, absolutely. Absolutely. She destroyed EverQuest 2 also. She came from EverQuest 2? That's why Blizzard would bring her. Oh, wait. I do know. Inclusion.
Blizzard have basically teased that themselves. Now, we've got no official idea what that'll look like, but what we do know is this.
It's not her?
Whenever it launches, every Classic Plus-like server will be in direct competition with a real WoW product sold by Blizzard. Blizzard is selling Classic Plus, and a private server is also selling Classic Plus. Blizzard will obviously just kill that private server. That's why Turtle's dying. So if you ask me, I think this is Blizzard clearing the field before their official Classic Plus launch. They're killing off the competition, and they're making sure that the only offering in the market is theirs. Now that does sound really dastardly, but obviously, like, World of Warcraft is theirs. It's not some open source MIT licensed project. It's actually their thing. They've invested probably like, I don't know, $1 billion plus into the damn thing. It is fair enough that they, defend their copyright and all of that stuff. And even the people engaging in these servers know that they are extremely shaky at best. So I don't think anyone's really surprised here. And I think that may even extend to why Ascension has at least found itself with a bit of a stay of execution. That's because a classless ARPG like World of Warcraft is just something Blizzard won't be offering anytime soon. So, if they've got limited legal resources, it's of course more important to spend them.
If Blizzard was actually creative, they would have. People have asked for this. Like, people literally have asked for this. They asked for hardcore servers, they asked for classless servers, they asked for so many things. And the moment Blizzard would actually take a moment to listen to their community, they're gonna be super successful. But the problem isn't that. The problem is that Blizzard view is myopic and they literally cannot see anything beyond their quarterly update. Sorry for always saying it, I just need to make sure you guys understand. Blizzard it's not that they don't have the capability to pull this off. Obviously, they have the budget, right? They have the people. Half of them are cube crawling and the rest are fridge raiding, admittedly. But in between, they have downtime and they actually work on the game. I think. I'd like to believe that. Now, that being said, they can definitely pull off a good Classic Plus experience. The reason Blizzard didn't do it is because the concept wasn't proven. But now it is, because Turtle WoW has flaunted their numbers and Blizzard knows there's a market for it. So now everything is up for grabs and Blizzard want to pick up that mantle. Because they know if they release Classic Plus, yeah, it's gonna get a lot of money.
On the ones that will actually compete with their
30
product,
years of failure,
which is, of course,
failing upwards.
Classic Plus and progression servers. It's obvious Blizzard are doing all of this to pave the way for Classic Plus. Now, this is something that Holly hyped up. She hyped it up pretty hard, actually, and we know that Classic, as it stands, has pretty much been a ghost town for a while. It certainly has been pretty light in content.
Yeah, I wonder why nobody want to play the Panda expansion again. I really wonder why.
There are still developers
Maybe
at Blizzard,
Warlords
those
of Draenor
resources
Classic
are
would
going
save that.
somewhere, and it definitely isn't on making the existing Classic products perfect, because they're not. That means everything points towards Classic Plus as a major pillar of Blizzard's plan for World of Warcraft. Maybe it's even their Hail Mary to revitalize the entire non-modern WoW ecosystem. Now, as things stand, we're about 140 odd days away from BlizzCon. That's when we'll see what Blizzard have in store. And if the hype around Turtle is anything to go by, the plan should be fairly simple. Alliance Elves, Horde Paladins, more
500,000
zones, more
players
quests,
concurrent
and
is
more
insane.
emphasis on the journey than just the end game. There's a hell of a lot riding on their initial announcement, and I think Blizzard know that full well. That team has obviously been operating in stealth
Why is she trying her best to look like a Final Fantasy XIV character? And not the good ones.
mode for a good while now. And with all the Classic Plus project surveys out there, there's clearly more than enough data showing what'll actually get people excited. The only question
Power
then
Ranger.
is, can Blizzard actually make a Classic Plus? One that's good enough to replace the private servers that they've just killed off. That's what will matter to people at the end of the day. Blizzard wants players' money. The best thing that they can do is just provide a better product and earn the damn money. They've certainly got the money.
Insane how you could have said the exact same thing 10 years ago and you still would have been right. 10 years later, Blizzard did not deliver a good product. You know why? Because Blizzard lack competition. And whenever Blizzard does have competition and they can take it down legally, they would do that instead of giving you a better product. But the moment they don't have that option, they would actually make a great game. You know what? Overwatch. Case in point, right? I mean, Marvel Rivals siphoned the last waifu from Overwatch. And the moment Blizzard saw that, immediately they went with the best patch Overwatch ever had. They went from Overwatch 2 back to Overwatch. They released 5 heroes simultaneously, when previously I think it was like 1 hero per 6 months? It was insane. Now they're actually back on working on the game. I heard Overwatch was really, really fun again. I heard it did some balancing and all of that stuff, added some new maps. I'm not really that familiar with Overwatch anymore. I quit it a long time ago. But yeah, Marvel Rivals definitely did wonders for Blizzard. And the same thing with Path of Exile. Path of Exile made absolutely sure that Diablo stays on its toes. Diablo sucked. It sucked. I was there for the first day. Not inside, I just watched people because I knew it was going to be bad. So I played PoE instead, and immediately I saw the new Diablo patch, and I went in on it. It's really, really fun. It is really fun. It's more casual than PoE. Obviously, it's different, but still, it's very fun.
With Season of Discovery, I think it's fairly clear they've got the talent, so that means they really don't have any excuses.
WoW just lacked that competition.
And you know what?
It is what it is.
Really excited for it. I think that a full Classic Plus could really be a new pillar of WoW in a way that the other Classic stuff hasn't. The other Classic stuff has always had an expiry date, right? It's always felt transient. We've always known where it's been going. But a Classic Plus that's just a new version of WoW that's going to grow over time, well, that truly is a big, new, exciting experience. It's certainly one that I can see myself putting a lot of time into. So let me know where you're at with this. But next, I think there's a video.
Great. I mean, okay, you know what? Great video about Bellular. I'm gonna leave a link to the description below. You guys should watch it for yourself. Give this man a like. But just to kind of end up on what I was saying a bit earlier, yeah, the problem is Blizzard World of Warcraft is that it lacks competition. And unfortunately, we're not going to see a new MMO rising up to those standards anytime soon. Right? Like, what is the closest thing we're gonna have to a good MMO? Riot MMO? We don't know a single thing about it, except for it went through a very tumultuous development cycle. They, like, literally scrapped the game, started from scratch, and re-envisioned the entire thing. And we do know that. Also, I wouldn't really bank on it, because it would most likely cater to, Far East Asia, because that's where Riot Games is located nowadays, right? It's owned by NetEase 100%. So it's going to be most likely a Korean MMO, and I'm not really a huge fan of those, unless somehow it will be good, because there are a lot of things that I do really love about Korean MMOs, and maybe they will just take the good parts. You can't really tell. So, at the end of the day, all we're gonna be left with is what we already know and love, which is World of Warcraft Classic and Guild Wars 2.